the kind of Moore's law for AI, he says they've got it pegged at 4 months. He goes, you're doubling every 4 months, the capability and the advancements.
It's wild, yeah.
And I just don't think people, again,
No.
everybody's talking about.
I still know people that say this is like a fad. Like smart people too. They're not.
Yeah, they're just, they do not understand what's going on.
Right.
The opinions expressed in this program are for general informational purposes only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual or on any specific security. It is only intended to provide education about the financial industry. To determine which investments may be appropriate for you, consult your financial advisor prior to investing. Any past performance discussed during this program is no guarantee of future results. Any indices referenced for comparison are unmanaged and cannot be invested into directly. Any references to performance of securities are thought to be materially accurate and actual performance may differ. As always, please remember investing involves risk.
And we are back with another edition of the Daily Dots. And I will be joined, as always, by the brain trust himself, Mr. Chase Taylor. But we're right at the end of the trading day. Chase is our backup trader. And our full-time trader is on a little vacation. So Chase had to get some trades in right before the bell. So he'll be joining us in a couple minutes. So until then, you're stuck with me, which is kind of a throwback because, shoot, I did this. I was used to being on the air solo for the first 8 years. Anyway, so not a whole lot going on. I think the most interesting things, and I'll let Chase do the rundown of the indexes. Not a lot was going on today. Kind of a flip of the other day, which, you know, IWM was leading with rates up. And then, you know, that's weird. Interest rates are up. You wouldn't expect small caps, especially IWM, and as much bad debt as so many of those companies on that index are loaded down with. And then today was kind of the mirror image of that. Rates were up a little. And then you flip around, IWM was getting whacked. And NASDAQ was doing good. So a lot of gyrations. On the earnings side of things, did get some interesting news. Did get it, certainly market moving announcements out of Google and Tesla. We covered those yesterday, but for those of you that missed it, and I am now joined by the brain trust himself, Mr. Chase Taylor.
Rest in peace, Terry Hogan.
Yes. Yeah, man. Crazy deal. I put out a tweet. You and I were talking about that. And I was thinking back to it, and I was like, I'm pretty sure he was like the first. It was the earliest kind of hero guys that you kind of looked up to and mesmerized for me was Hogan and Mr. T. I thought Mr. T was a bad mother too. But I also from Rocky 3. So you can see I was very Rocky influenced. There was no question growing up that was my favorite movie. If I had to rank it, favorite movies of my childhood would be Top Gun and Rocky 3. And wild, man, just wild to see one of your childhood heroes. I mean, we all have those days, and I don't want to make it.
It makes you feel old.
Yeah, I'm, obviously feel bad for he and his family and all that kind of stuff. Don't want to make him passing about me, but just one of the where you're like the Hulkamania is dead. That's just, yeah, it's wild.
Feels like yesterday I was, buying the action figure or something.
Oh yeah, or he was, holding Sylvester Stallone up over his head and throwing him out of the ring, man. Anyway, yeah. So rest in peace to the Hulkster. But anyway, moving on to earnings announcements. Biggest of the day yesterday were Google and Tesla. Tesla is, Tesla's been a wild story for a really long time. You and I were talking. I suppose, their stock was down 8% today. Honestly, I'm kind of surprised it wasn't down more like 18 to 20. If you're holding that stock now, I don't know why.
I mean, I haven't known why in years, but it's at least it used to be growing, right? I think I saw today with their free cash flow is down like 89% year over year.
Well, and here's the deal.
And he warned of in the future quarters too.
Yeah, and Musk, Mr. Musk hype, right? and I tip of the cap to him because he's not trying to sugarcoat it, but he said yesterday on the conference call, we've reached maximum auto sales. And you're still holding an automobile manufacturer trading at 180 times earnings. The only logical explanation behind that is you're hoping he pulls another rabbit out of his hat. The problem I've got with it is that when you look at all the really exciting stuff he's doing, like XAI is way better than anybody thinks. I was talking to my buddy at one of the Meg 7 firms that runs their AI team. He was just telling me it's really good. You look at a lot of the stuff he's doing, it doesn't relate to stuff at Tesla.
Yeah, I mean, Neuralink, SpaceX, like it's all that stuff that's doing well.
And when you look at
in private,
and when you look at the CapEx that Tesla's spent, when you look at the infrastructure that Tesla's put in, their plan must. I think Tesla runs a legitimate risk of Musk just walking away from it.
He may as well. I mean, you can tell he's lost interest. I mean,
yeah,
and you know, if you think about what's cooler to spend your time with between that and AI, like, I mean, that's kind of obvious.
AI and rockets are building cars,
right?
That are going to continue to decline in demand.
And as Jim Chanos has done the math on, like, hey, cool, if we hit the crazy targets on the robots, here's how much you probably make on them, and here's what it does for earnings, and that doesn't matter. Like, it just
not at $1 trillion.
Yeah.
Again, if this thing was trading at 150 to $200 billion, it would still be expensive. But you're like, okay, there's room for Musk magic here. You can make the allowance
of getting a bunch of stuff right. You said rabbit out of the hat. It needs to be like 100 rabbits.
Yeah. Well, I'd say 150, but he needs to be able to turn his amplifier to 11. 10 ain't going to cut it.
Yeah, probably not. So
no. And in this market, the only reason, and that we discussed it, but that was a good pull on yours because you cashed out some of our short position on that thing at 290, but then reloaded it back up at 232. The only reason that isn't, I don't know if it'd be the biggest. The only reason that isn't one of the top 3 biggest positions in the book is because that is the most ridiculous shareholder group I've ever seen in my life.
You never know when it's going to go nuts. So,
I mean, this is the same shareholder base that was trying to rally the stock the other day because of the Tesla diner.
I got nothing for that.
No, and that's what, like, the only, on a fundamental basis, I think that's probably at this level is probably one of the most attractive shorts I think I've ever seen on a fundamental basis. Not because it's not fraudulent. I'm not saying that, but in terms of just looking at the price of a company and looking at the reality and going, oh my goodness.
Yeah, I don't think, I mean, other than, Palantir now, it's just hard to imagine. That doesn't even compare because the market cap difference, but you'll just never see anything like quite like that again. I don't think.
Yeah.
Now it still has to actually go down for us to say we'll never see that again because it's still happening. But for now, yeah,
it's wild.
Well, like I said, you could cut the thing by and not in half, but by 3, and it's still the most overvalued of the Max 7.
Yeah, that chart,
which is saying a decent amount.
Yeah, that chart you sent me the other day was hilarious.
Yeah, I added a couple on that thread today. So
yeah,
there's some more good stuff out there.
Other one was Google. I'm pretty sure that everybody that has ever listened to this show knows my thoughts on Google.
Yeah. The growth is dead, and it's also growing 11%. But
growth is dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or, excuse me. I meant to say search is dead and growing 11%.
Search is still growing at 11%.
It grew better this quarter than last, but it's dead.
Also, really interesting comments, and you and I pointed to this. They are seeing renewed growth there, and yet they are seeing a massive spike in people no longer, and I do this all the time, no longer going down the page, but going right to the Gemini explanation.
Right, that's what everyone's
ignoring
doing.
Everything. Yeah, and it's so good.
You would think that would be demonetizing them rapidly, but
it's not.
But they're still getting like the paid clicks pretty decently somehow. I'm not gonna lie to you, that doesn't make sense to me, but currently the numbers suggest people are still clicking through links that make them money.
The other thing I'll say too is even if you maintain the same valuation on this thing, it's getting cheaper by the day, because every day that search isn't falling off is every day that the other parts of the
Yeah.
business are growing to fill in that
Right.
gap.
The cloud matters more.
Yeah, and you still have it priced as if search is going to zero, and it's just not. It's
Right.
not. It's still growing at double digits. So the whole short narrative around that thing is ridiculous. Other good thing that my buddy was telling me, and just for people that know, I obviously can't divulge the company or the guy, but he is the head of the AI team at one of the Make Sevens, so he's really in the know. The other thing was he was telling me, you and I have been talking about this for a long time, and he goes, I don't know why they're not getting any attention for it. And he goes, there need to be some changes here and some tweaks there. But he goes, the chips that both Google and Amazon are putting out, he goes, they're really good. And he goes, I think they're going to give NVIDIA competition. And he just said, I don't think people understand how close they are to NVIDIA. He goes, they're not quite there yet. He said in certain applications they're better, but he goes, they're way closer than people think. It's really strange to say a company like Google is so underestimated, but it really is.
Yeah, big time.
And this guy does not work for Google. Okay, that's the only other one I'll give you. He does not work for Google, but he actually said that he thinks that they're poised to be one of the biggest winners from this. So, other one that he said that was really interesting is he said people are really sleeping on Grok and XAI. He said he goes, I don't understand how the guy does it, but they were like, as many other things as he's focused on, he's keeping right up and better in certain areas than a lot of the other, even what is it? AI. The guys that made. I'm just blanking out. ChatGPT. AI. OpenAI. Yep. OpenAI. He was saying in some ways he sees Grok and as being superior to OpenAI.
Yeah, I mean, the crazy thing is, like, we just every time one of these companies comes out with a new iteration, it seems to jump to the top of the heap, whether it's Meta or these other three. It's kind of like a four horsemen thing. And then the next guy comes out with theirs, and it flies to the top of the list. So, like, if you don't think your favorite of the four has the best model, just give it a week. And one interesting thing is, like, they're starting to show themselves as like leaders in different areas. Like,
yeah,
one's the best at coding, one's the best at video, one's the best at images, like one's the best at text. Well, that's kind of an interesting, and that may be where this all goes. Is like all the money it takes. You may have one of these companies go, you know what, like, let's just shave off the rest and just do the video and just be the best at that, or yep, for the coding or whatever the case is.
Other one, he said, you and I have talked about this before, but unprovoked, he brought this up on his own. He goes, so first of all, I'll give you the rundown. He said that they're at a point now where their internal LLM is the best coder in the entire company. And he said within the next 3 months, AI will be the best coder on planet Earth. And he goes, if we're not, are they? He goes, it's really close. And he also said that they're also to a point where 70% of the code has been written by the LLM itself.
Right.
It's writing itself.
And they're even fixing, their own bugs and,
right,
and doing some of the kind of the design stuff that people aren't fully understanding. And like,
and the kind of Moore's law for AI, he says they've got it pegged at 4 months. He goes, you're doubling every 4 months, the capability and the advancements.
It's wild. Yeah.
And I just don't think people, again,
no.
Everybody's talking.
I still know people that say this is like a fad. Like smart people too. They're not.
Yeah, they're just they do not understand what's going on.
Right. Obviously.
And the pace of which it's going on. If you think this is going to play out like internet, you're out of your mind. It is happening so much faster because human beings, for the first time ever with any technology, human beings are not the obstruction. Human beings are not the hurdle that you have. It's not holding you back. It's not a restraint, right? So the people that are, or the things, the architects of this architecture, this new structure, this new technology, work 24 hours a day and never take vacations.
Right. Same as the robots that they're going to, end up making so much better.
Yeah.
And that's another area where, like, the improvements between now and like a year ago for some of these robots is nuts, and they're cheap. Like you can get these Chinese robots for like 5 to 15 grand, and they're insane, and they're getting dramatically better because LLMs are helping them train, on, instead of having to actually do tasks and stuff, they're training on essentially like seeing what the task looks like, and then being able to go like, okay, I get it, instead of having to do it, and down to the point of like they can, they obviously can't feel, but it's almost like they can feel an object and change how tight of a grip it uses on that object based on what kind of object it is to make sure they don't break it or whatever. Like they're getting pretty intense, and like for movement skills, they're already like, the stuff they can do is pretty crazy. So if you think about the kind of Moore's law equivalent for LLMs and then attaching it to robotics and where that stuff will be. I mean, Amazon
5 years from now, dude.
Amazon already has more robots than humans working for them. So like, it's not hard to figure out where this all is going in 10 years or whatever.
No, the other thing is he said massive layoffs in the tech industry. And he goes, it's coming. And he goes, we don't need them.
Yeah.
Bottom line. So you flip over, look at a company like Google. Those margins are just going to keep expanding.
It's going to be the case for all these folks.
Yep.
And if we have a recession, like this is a point Citrini's made. Like if you have a recession, then like that, the incentive to just be like, you know what, we're just going to like let a whole bunch of people go and see how good AI can do their jobs gets like really, really high. Or even if it's not a recession, but a particular company hits a nasty skid and they really need to cut spending. Like, and it doesn't have to be like some fancy tech company. It could be like an insurance company. Or whatever.
Dude, you could see revenues down 20% and profit up 30.
Right.
I mean, that wouldn't, and I'm not saying that for everybody, but I mean, the speed of this and how fast this train is coming, the average person is not aware. They do not realize it's not coming. It hasn't started. It is here. And where this technology is going to be a year from now is really going to blow your hair back.
Right. And I mean, this just barely touched consumers in any way yet.
No.
And that's still to come. You have some, enterprise business like use. Even that's new. People are still figuring out what to do with it. I mean, for me, like I'm still honing in, figuring out all the things I can do with it, want to do with it. Like,
think about and probably within the next year or two, you're going to have a voice activated version of an LLM in your car.
I mean, you can already do that with your phone.
But I mean,
but
to
yeah,
the
you
point
can just
where
talk to your
and have it integrated and be like, hey, to the car, be like, hey, order dinner from here, have it arrive at our house at 6:30. Boom, done.
Right.
Hey, order. Stephanie needs some new socks for her soccer game on Thursday. Order those, have them delivered to the house. Just sit there and
you can already do it through your phone or very close to that.
I mean, that's
through Perplexity's comment system. You can you're already pretty much there.
Yeah.
So in that browser, you can just be like, hey, hey, back like 2 years ago, I bought, this supplement and I can't remember what it was. Can you go find it and reorder it for me? You can just say that and it'll just do it. Like you're already, the things you can already do are pretty intense with that system.
Or like you were telling me the other day, driving into work, and you were like, hey, teach me about the Spanish Civil War.
Right. And
you got a 30-minute tutorial on the Spanish Civil War.
A perfect example of something I'm planning to do and this is super basic. This isn't like fancy, but I have like a hard copy book of my whole family's whole history going back to the 1500s. I'm going to digitize the thing, put it into Notebook LM through Google and probably some of the other, Perplexity, all of them. And then I can do the same thing. I can drive to work and just start talking to it, asking questions like, okay, well, like what kids did they have and what did they do? Like where did they die?
Where's
like,
Uncle Ned's kids?
What year was it that our family came to America again? And what was the port of entry? Like you just, and then I can do more research on top of it, make it better, turn it into like a really cool PDF, send it to my whole family, like all the stuff that would have been an enormous pain to do without AI,
Well, and how far removed are you from, something maybe like called autopilot, where like for your phone, your text messages, your email, you just put on autopilot and it doesn't give people an out of office. it learns your responses and things like that. You know what I mean? And it'll just answer all your stuff.
People already do that with AI.
That is wild.
It's
well,
funny.
I mean, people already have AI girlfriends, so I mean,
and it's funny because like usually people can still tell like, hey, that wasn't you, and like people are like can sniff it out. But
yeah, the tone's a little different.
But through comment, you can have it, and you can just be like, hey, look, everything in my email that like I haven't responded to that has a subscription base to it, go unsubscribe from all of them, and it'll just go do it for you. Like, and you can watch it like it's going through and doing it, like, and you're watching it do stuff, which is wild.
Yeah, it's a brave new world.
The opinions expressed in this program are for general informational purposes only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual or on any specific security. Any references to performance of securities are thought to be materially accurate, and actual performance may differ.
The other thing that I think he said was really interesting is he goes, and you and I were talking about this not that long ago, and he goes, it's getting to the point where he goes, if you have a business, like whatever business, and whatever you need, whatever systems you need for your business or whatever, you just tap into the LLM and be like, hey, I need you to build me this, or I need this database, or and he said, I need this CRM. And I went, that's where I'm looking at so many of these SaaS companies like Salesforce going, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
You're in trouble. I don't need to pay you a subscription. I'll have the LLM build me my own CRM.
Right.
And CRM is an interesting one because I don't need it to run through Salesforce. They can provide, if that CRM does everything I need to do with its clients, I don't need the connectivity to some mothership somewhere. I don't need it. What do? You subscribe to Salesforce and you spend the first amount of whatever of your time working on it, customizing it to what you want anyway, right? So just build it. I think a lot of those SaaS companies are going to get just completely upended and hollowed out.
Right.
Just don't have to do it.
And speaking of customer relationships, like you're going to be able to, especially if you use the same browser that knows everything you're doing along the way, you'll be able to like prepare for a meeting with a client, and it'll be like, all right, hey, the last 4 times you met, this is what you talked about. These were their questions. Like, here's some notes on these clients. Like, just quickly tell you all that stuff, without you have to do even work for it. Like, that kind of stuff's gonna be crazy.
What was their oldest daughter's name?
Yeah.
Again?
Right.
It is nuts, and it's nuts to see how quick it's coming. Other interesting thing that we saw too, more on the macro scale, and it goes right along with our China stimulus story. And I DM'd you this message, but the minute I saw it, I sat there and I went, there it is. Australia put up some pretty solid beats, economically speaking.
Their equities have just broken out in the last month, so it all makes sense.
And I sat there and I sent it to you and I just said Chinese stimulus. When you see Australia's economy starting to pick up in a meaningful way, I don't think it's possible for it to pick up in a meaningful way without China on the come. They're just too levered to it. So I still, you and I were just talking about this, this is not advice. I'm not telling you to go out there. I just think people are really sleeping on Chinese equities here.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the Chinese small caps are up 2% today. Like,
if this market is anywhere close to consistent, it's the story that I haven't heard anybody talking about. I don't hear anybody out there like AI is going to do for them what it's doing for us.
Oh yeah, it's even better because they're better at building robots than us. They're better at building EVs than us. They're better at building a lot of things than us. So to be able to plug AI into that stuff, plus they have more and cheaper electricity than us, which means, even if their models aren't as good, just through brute force of, hey, we have the power for it. Like, who cares? Like, they can get the same outcomes, especially now that they're getting some of the NVIDIA chips. Like, I mean, they're starting to pass us in really important areas like biotech and development of new medicines, treatments. AI is gonna be huge for that. So, I mean, you think about the amount of like PhDs and hard science, educated people that are coming through that, and then you're just gonna hand them AI tools to go do stuff like they're.
Yeah, and this guy that I was talking to, needless to say, is a hell of a coder. And he had his daughter in a coding class. He took her out.
Why not? Yeah, there's no point.
That's what he said. He goes, there's absolutely zero
point. You can
point.
plain language your way to anything.
Yep.
especially by the time our kids are grown. Like,
And that's what he said. He goes, Zach, you can code.
yeah.
He goes, with the help of an LLM.
Yeah,
he
you
goes,
can't tell it what you.
he goes, you could code right now better than my best guy could code a year ago, which is just mind blowing. And that's the speed of it. And I don't think people understand that part. You know, when the LLMs are building themselves, 70% of the internal code has been written by it. That's just insane.
Yeah.
It's literally something creating itself.
I mean, I've done a little bit with like making scripts for charting. Like obviously I have no idea how to do that. Like if you ask me to code something, you have a problem.
Oh yeah.
But just throw it in Perplexity. Like, hey, this is what I want. Can you make the code for it? And it spits out like this huge thing of code. You copy it and paste it into the charting software, and it's like, yeah, cool. Here you go.
Yeah. I saw this guy the other day that is doing every single trade via an LLM, and he listed all of his prompts and protocols that he put into it. And it's just plain language stuff.
Right.
And
here's what I'm looking for. Go find it.
And it does it. And his success rate, I think he was like an 85% hit rate or something like that on the positions. So it's wild. Now, anyway, like you stepped in early, like you stepped in late. I got to step out early.
Hey, that was a full 25 minutes. We're good.
Yeah. Well, there you go. So we'll cut her off right there. Any other news that we had to get to? Any other data that came out?
New home sales weren't very good. That was the biggest thing
Shocker.
that came out of the day. And you're to October of 07 levels for new home supply. Existing home sales were terrible yesterday too, but the supply at least didn't tick back up. But new home supply did. So housing's still an issue. Something we'll have more on tomorrow. Donald Trump is currently touring the Fed because of their cost overrun. So for all we know, Jerome Powell's been fired by tomorrow this time. So we'll see how that goes.
You're right. Why would he be touring the facility if he wasn't trying to fire him?
Right. He at least wants to put more pressure there, right?
Yeah. Meanwhile, if you're looking at the economic data, if I was the head of the Fed right now, as much criticism as I've given them, I could justify 25 basis points.
Maybe like one more cut the rest of the way for the
year.
Year,
but I mean, right now, you can't justify it looking at the numbers.
Inflation's still closer to 3 than 2.
Although I will say to the flip side, that deflationary wave that is AI is coming out as hot and heavy. It really is. So
true.
Anyway, well, that does it for us today. As always, we will be back tomorrow. We'll see you then. Have a wonderful evening, and go visit the social media websites, YouTube. Get the video feed. Just search Know Your Risk Podcast on YouTube, on Google. You guys know the drill. Until then, we'll see you tomorrow. You're listening to Know Your Risk Podcast. Download and subscribe at knowyourriskpodcast.com.
Investment advice cannot be given without a client service agreement. Zach Abraham is an investment advisor representative of Trek Financial, an SEC registered investment advisor. Bulwark Capital Management is a marketing name only and does not carry a separate registration.